Faith, Hope, and Trick. A new Slayer arrives in Sunnydale, but it turns out she brings a new threat with her.
We open at the school, where Willow is talking to Oz about her excitement of being a senior.
As seniors, they are allowed to eat lunch outside, which conveniently allows them to eat with Buffy.
Buffy has made them a picnic lunch because she doesn't have anything else to do since she got kicked out of school.
And some kid named Scott walks by who likes Buffy.
And the others encourage her to do normal stuff.
And Xander is annoying.
We cut to a limo that pulls up to a fast food restaurant, and the guy inside orders a license-free soft drink.
Diet soda. Medium.
That'll be 89 cents at the window, sir.
Give me a soda. Medium. And it also bothered me that he was clearly handed an empty cup.
And he talks to a guy in shadow about the death rate in Sunnydale. We see the guy's monster hand, and he says he's there to kill the Slayer. Then the first guy turns into a vampire and kills the guy working the window, thereby improving his situation.
In the bronze, Buffy is dancing with Angel, but I'm guessing there's going to be at least one Angel dream per episode for this whole season.
Her ring falls off, and Angel turns more dead than usual and talks about going to hell.
The next day, Snyder is forced to readmit Buffy to the school.
And we see where Buffy's childish tendencies come from.
I think what my daughter's trying to say is, nah, 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 nah.
And after the meeting, he gets another call from the mayor.
But of course we don't get to hear it, because we're not important enough.
In the library, Giles requests Buffy's help to make sure Catholic can't be brought back again. And if we had any other time where they do demon follow-up work, what about Snake Man? Any of them?
The ritual involves more information than Giles has, so he asks Buffy questions about how things ended with Angel.
And in the conversation, Willow also mentions she's been messing around with witchcraft.
He tells her that witchcraft is not a toy, and asks what she's been messing around with. And it seems like something that they're setting up, but it doesn't really make sense that Giles wouldn't just tell her to stop.
At the bronze, we get some music, and Buffy is trying to be more normal, and Scott approaches her and asks her to dance.
But she turns him down, despite them both having terrible taste in music.
Don't you love this song?
Yeah, actually I do.
Don't you love this song? What a weird thing to say to just some random person.
Well, it's better than the way you ask girls to dance, where you walk over and just say, "Get up."
Hey, that works like 1 out of 20 times. Xander and Cordelia come over, and Cordelia points out a guy who must have taken dancing pointers from Crispin Glover.
Buffy suspects he's a vampire, so she goes to confront him as he takes a girl outside.
She dodges Scott on the way, and gets out just in time to see the girl beat up and kill the vampire in a strangely over-theatrical fight scene.
Oz makes the assumption that she must be a Slayer too, and no one contradicts him, because why would they? There is no other possible explanation.
The new Slayer is named Faith, and she's played by Eliza Dushku, who was Arnold's daughter in True Lies.
She's sharing stories about her slaying, and is looking forward to teaming up with Buffy and shortening as many names as possible.
So, V, did you really use a rocket launcher one time?
She proves to be overly energetic and provocative, and half of her stories involve being naked.
And everyone, including Giles, is smitten by her.
I had a problem with her stories. They didn't sound real because she just kind of tosses out a couple of details and then moves on to the next thing. And she says she's in town because her watcher is off at a retreat in England. Again, Giles was apparently never told about the new Slayer.
Yeah. Willow and Xander are recapping all the crazy shit that's happened in their school, which put sequentially sounds ridiculous, and why is the school even open?
Given the tone of the scene, I thought it was fine, but I get what you're saying.
Faith runs into Scott and starts flirting, which annoys Buffy, despite her having turned him down at least 4 times so far in this episode.
We see the guys from the limo from earlier setting up shop in a building somewhere, and it turns out they're hunting Faith because she cut this monster guy's face. For only having been a Slayer since the end of Season 2, Faith sure has gotten around.
But Kendra was talking about how she's been training her whole life, so maybe Faith has had some prior training before becoming the actual Slayer.
Yeah, see, those are more questions that I wish were answered, because why was Buffy not in that kind of situation? They call for a pizza so they can eat the delivery guy, but that seems like a bad idea because it would just call police attention. But it was done for a dumb joke about food delivery.
Buffy invites Faith over for dinner, and Joyce is also smitten, and suggests that Faith could take over for Buffy, and Buffy lets slip that she died, which is why a new Slayer was activated.
But she assures Joyce that she won't do it again.
Buffy and Faith are patrolling
where the subject of Angel comes up, and Faith tells Buffy to get over it already.
And like most arguments in this show that they can't figure out how to finish, they just get attacked by vampires.
The vampires say they are killing for Kakistos, and Faith gets too distracted beating the shit out of one of them to help Buffy.
I said Faith is busy over-punching a vampire. Buffy discusses the incident with Giles, who says he'll reach out to Faith's watcher.
And Giles randomly asks if she has any clues as to the lineage of the vampires. Why did he ask that now? It's never come up before, and they seem like just run-of-the-mill vampires.
Right, and he gets spooked when Buffy mentions Kakistos.
It means the worst of the worst. It's also the name of a vampire so old that his hands and feet are cloven.
Why the fuck does a vampire have hooves?
Do all vampires know if they live long enough that's what's going to happen? Because you wouldn't be able to pick up cutlery. It'd be a lot of problems.
And Buffy says Kakistos showed up at the same time as Faith, even though there's no reason for her to think so.
Could have been operating out of there for who knows how long. Buffy is encountered again by Scott.
And he pathetically and awkwardly as fuck asks her out again, and even gives her a ring like the one Angel gave her. What a weirdo.
I was cracking up when he gave her that ring. It was so funny.
The ring freaks her out, and Scott thankfully leaves. And Giles shows up to tell her he contacted Faith's watcher, who it turns out is dead, which again, Giles was not told for some reason.
Buffy confronts Faith about Kakistos and her watcher
in a rundown apartment that she apparently can't afford.
And the conversation causes her to immediately start to pack up and leave.
What up, Buffy?
And Buffy lets out all of her pent-up anger, and they start to argue, but as most arguments in the show they can't figure out how to resolve, they get attacked by a bunch of vampires.
Faith starts panicking as they fight the vampires and gets beat up by Kakistos,
who it turns out killed her watcher.
Buffy tries to stake him, but it doesn't work. So she tries it again, and it doesn't work.
I didn't understand why it didn't work. And Kakistos even makes a joke. I thought maybe he would have body armor or something, which why don't vampires wear body armor?
And Faith finally decides to quit being a baby and does kill him by staking him with a big piece of wood.
Even a little patch on their chest area. The next day, Giles says that Faith is going to stay in Sunnydale
until a new watcher is appointed for her. And Buffy sticks up for Faith this time and says she came through in the end, because character arcs.
Buffy also reveals to Giles that Willow's spell worked and Angel's soul was restored right before she killed him.
And after Buffy leaves, Giles reveals that he was asking her questions about Angel to get her to come to terms with what happened.
And there isn't actually a binding spell. That Giles, he even fooled me. I was wrong to have questioned him earlier in this discussion. But they should do demon follow-up. What the hell?
Yeah. Maybe send that statue to the moon or something. Buffy talks to Scott, who is still a weirdo.
And they agree to go on a date.
To the Buster Keaton Film Festival, because that's what teenagers were into in the 90s.
And we close with Buffy putting the angel ring on the ground in the spot where she ran a sword right through his guts.
And when she leaves, he Terminators his way back somehow. It will probably never be explained.
So he made it a whole 2 episodes of not being there. Even though he was in 26 flashbacks in those 2 episodes.
Faith, Hope, and Trick. Overall, what a good start.
Faith's introduction and interactions with the other characters has already made her have a stronger presence than Kendra did, which is disappointing. I wish Kendra had had more of a character presence before she got killed. But it was goofy how everybody was practically fawning over her. It annoys the crap out of me when people do that name-shortening thing, so I already don't like Faith very much. I thought it was dumb that Joyce found out that Buffy had died, which was her ultimate fear, but then just kind of glossed over it.
But it had already happened. Buffy's already gotten past it. She should be less scared now because Buffy is apparently immune to dying.
I would think she'd be even more scared because it's already happened, which shows Buffy can't do her job well.
Yeah, I guess it could go either way.
I have a question. Are Watchers just for Slayers? Because there can only be one Slayer, but there's Watcher conventions. Are they actively training people they know will become Slayers? I think I had the same questions about Kendra when she mentioned she had been training her whole life.
I would like to know the answers to these questions as well.
I can't imagine Scott actually doing anything. He doesn't seem like he has demon motives. And I could see him getting killed off and never being discussed again.
Let's hope so.
Especially now that Angel is back. I thought it was really funny that Buffy is all Faith has her issues behind her now. We're all good. At the end of this episode, I really hope that's not the case, especially considering how much we drag every single thing Buffy is going through entire seasons. There is some more character development in there for Faith. I hope they don't just throw that away. As usual, Kakistos didn't really mean anything for supposedly being a big deal. I would like to see Willow do more magic stuff. It seems like they're kind of pushing that way, so that's cool. And Angel is back. Great. I'm sure there will be a much drawn-out melodrama ahead. Sign me up. And I half expect there to still be dreams about Angel, even though Angel is not dead anymore. Can't shove enough Angel melodrama into the show.
I still hope the dreams turn out to have something to do with why he's back or something.
We'll see. I gave this episode a C.
I also gave it a C. The unexpected arrival of Faith raised so many questions, and it was cool to hear at least something about the Watchers Council. But if anything, I have more questions. I hope that stuff starts coming together a bit more instead of feeling like it's being made up as they go along. It's not like Watchers and Slayers are elements that were introduced late in the show. These are the core concepts that the entire thing was built around. You would think they would have figured that out at least a little bit. I found Faith to be very irritating and not very likable, making me wish even more that they just kept Kendra around instead. Like you said, Kakistos was another super talked up threat that turned out to be pretty easy to beat, so that was great. However, it was good to have Joyce more involved, and keeping Faith around is an interesting development that gives me hope for some interesting storylines. I just hope they make her a more interesting and sympathetic character than she was in this episode. As for Angel coming back, that's about the worst development I could have imagined. I really hope this doesn't turn into season 2.5, but we shall see.